Hello everyone, my name is Ash. Welcome to my channel. This is my first YouTube video. I would like to review my personal car, the 2019 C63S. Let's get started. Before we get to the other parts of the car, let's actually see what's under the hood. So this is the same engine that is used by the previous model. It's actually being used by a lot of AMG models like the E63S, the AMG GT, the AMG GTS, or 63S Coupe. This has 503 horsepower with 510 pound-feet of torque. As you know, this is the V8 4-liter bi-turbo. As you see, the turbos are right there. It's a really reliable engine. It's being used in a lot of cars, as I said earlier, the Mercedes. So it's the M177. It's different than the naturally aspirated previous C63, but again, with the turbos, you get a really good torque. A couple things you see at the front that is different from the previous C63 is the facelift. This is the new AMG style for all their AMG cars. The lights also are a little bit different with the multi-beam LEDs. They're really great. They're adaptive. This is an extra feature in the C63S based on the model that you get. With a great engine, you actually need really great brakes. So this is not the carbon ceramic version. However, it's the performance brakes by AMG. AMG offers 3 different types of brakes. I call them the ceramic, the red calipers, and the silver calipers. The difference between the ceramic and the red calipers are based on what the performance that you want, the outcome of that performance, whether you're going to track it a lot. I haven't had any problems with these brakes. They're really great. One thing I will note though is there's a lot of dust that comes off of it. Apparently this is normal with all performance brakes, especially Mercedes brakes. The S model gets the red calipers. The normal C63 gets the silver calipers. Again, not a really big changes. It just looks more sporty and it's really great. Going to the side of the vehicle, nothing's really different from the previous C63. Again, the brakes in the back, even though they're a little bit smaller, they're really great. The way the brakes are distributed with the C63 is equally on the 4 sides of the car. So even though they're smaller, they're still great. Same issue you see in the back with the dust that comes out of the brakes. Again, it's what you get with performance brakes, but they're really great as long as you wash it. Going to the back of the vehicle, the big change that you notice is the big diffuser right here. Makes the car a little bit more aggressive. It's a little bit different than the previous version. You get the quad pipes. I call them semi-fake, even though they look like exhaust. Again, it's not connected to the inner part of the vehicle. One thing I like about this part of the car is the spoiler. Even though the car is black and you can't see it, it's really noticeable when the car has a light color. I had a previous AMG with white exterior color, and the black spoiler is really sporty and it's obvious. Before we get into the other details of the car, I would like to point out a couple odd things that are really you would notice it as an owner of a C63. The tire or the wheel to tire ratio is really tiny, so if you get to a side of a curb or something, it could hit the rim really bad. As you see right here, I've done this a couple months ago and it was really devastating. You can point it out down there too. So keep that in mind. Don't be too close to the curbs. This car doesn't have the 360 camera package, so I always gotta be careful when it comes to that. One thing also that I've had people ask me about are those fake vents. So those are literally fake. It doesn't go anywhere. I don't know what Mercedes was talking about. I don't know what Mercedes was thinking about when they were doing this, but it looks really good. I've had people actually ask me before why this is there. Also, there's this two huge things. I don't know what to call them. Apparently, this is also in the U.S. It's regulations in regards to vehicles having bumpers or something that looks like bumpers. So if this it's not a new car. It's usually not a US model. Again, not really a big thing, but it just looks really different than the previous C63s. One thing I would like to point out is with this great grille, great looking grille, there's a big chance that things will go in there really easily. I've had this cleaned actually a couple days ago, but usually you'll get any type of leaves, cigarette butts, depending on the season. it's just keep that in mind whenever you wash the car, whenever you change the filters in there, just make sure that it's always clean. Keeping the best for the last, one thing I would like to point out is with this great grill, great looking grill, there's a lot of chance, or there's a big chance that things will go in there really easily. I've had this cleaned actually a couple days ago, but usually you'll get any type of leaves, cigarette butts, depending on the season. It's just keep that in mind whenever you wash the car, whenever you change the filters in there, just make sure that it's always clean. Before talking about the interior of the car, let's hear why, or let's actually see why I bought an AMG. Let's hear the exhaust of the car. Now that you guys heard the exhaust of the car, let's actually talk about the interior. This has a dual color interior with the performance seats. These seats are extra to pay for. They look really great. They're comfortable. However, they're not as comfortable as the original ones that the C63 comes with. But they look really sporty. You can actually adjust a lot of things in these seats. The bottom part from these controls right here, and the top part from these controls. They look really great, and AMG has done a really great job in making their performance seats look really sporty. And with that, let's actually get in the car. A really noticeable thing you see is the steering wheel, the new steering wheel that AMG has now in most of their 2019-2020 cars. It's a really great steering wheel. This has the carbon fiber trim on it, so depending on the model you have, these might look different. You have Alcantara right here that feels great and looks really good. With the new steering wheel, you also get a lot of the buttons that control the different parts of the car. The left side basically controls that front panel, while this side controls the screen up here. One thing also you notice with the new C63 obviously is the new digital dashboard. There's different designs that you can choose from. I chose this design because it looks really good for the car. You can have a lot of changes. You can modify this to have different dates, the G-force. You can have all the AMG performance gauges. This is AMG track, which I can talk about on another video, which shows the different track. If you're in a racetrack, and it shows all the specific details of the track, the directions. This shows all the different temperatures for the tires and the PSIs. This also shows the oil temperature and the transmission temperature. And finally, this is basically the eco, or the consumption for how much gas you're spending on the car, and what's the miles per gallon, etc. On the other side of the digital display is different functionalities. Again, this has more functionalities to choose from, so you can either choose trips, have all the different details about your trip, miles per gallon, etc. You can also change whatever you want to see there. So if you want to see the AMG performance details, again, the G-force, the boost, the different settings you have on the car. With that, you can also change it to navigation, radio, media, phone, final heads-up display. As you can see, this car is equipped with the heads-up display. You can slightly see it there. You can have different designs on the heads-up display based on what you prefer. And finally, this shows you the different designs you can choose from. So this is the Super Sport view. If you change it to Sport, it will look more of the classy version or the classic version. And then finally, the Classic and the Sport is just a difference of color. So this one has the bluish, more comfortable color if you like that one. I usually like to keep it on the Super Sport one. Moving along to the main console of the car, this has the carbon fiber trim. The car has also a different screen from the 2018 model with different info system. The screen is 11 inches, a little bit wider. One thing that upset me is still not touchscreen. Hopefully the new C63s will have touchscreens. This has all the functionalities that you can see on that side. However, this is more detailed. You can control all that screen from the right side of the steering wheel. So this is really handy when you're driving and you don't have to go and press on buttons here. These has all the 3 AC vents. This was where you control your AC. Different just buttons. I don't really use these with the controls that I can do on the steering wheel. Cup holders here, 2 cup holders with wireless charger in here. Again, this is really handy if you have a wireless charging phone. You can also control the screen up there from here. This is a touch pad or the wheel in here, so based on what you like. These are the specific or the different changes that you could do on the car, whether it's the mode, the driving mode, the suspension, etc. I can have a detailed video if you guys are interested on all these functionalities in here. Really great space. To talk about space, this is really great, especially for the driver and the passenger. However, when you go to the back, it's a little bit tight. I would say it fits a 5'4", 5'5" person. I've had a person, however, who's 6'4" in here just to challenge me that they can sit with their head tilted. The car is equipped also with the sunroof, which is really good, especially if you live in an area where the weather is really comfortable or not as cold. This car is equipped with the sunroof, which is great if you live in a warm area and you like sunroofs. I personally like to open it, especially with the spring weather now. Going back to the seats of the car, something I forgot to mention is the controls on the seat. These are the different controls. You guys are familiar probably with Mercedes. If you know Mercedes, this is where you control the seats from. The new C63 actually has cooled and heated seats, so based on what you like. The previous one, I'm guessing, I'm pretty sure it didn't have it. This is cool too, so based on what you prefer. This car also is equipped with upgraded sound system, which is great. I don't remember exactly how many watts, but it sounds really great. I can talk about more details about the interior of the car if you guys are interested, but this is basically an overview of the interior. Really great interior. Mercedes has done a great job. You can see AMG everywhere, just to confirm that you're driving an AMG on the console, AMG on the dashboard. There's also AMG on the panels near the doors. One last thing I want to point out are these 2 different screens on the steering wheel. These are really great additional features that AMG did with their recent models. On this side, you can actually control the different settings on the car, whether it's the exhaust sound, the drive mode, whether you want it manual or automatic, auto on, auto stop at a traffic light, the suspension if you want it in sports plus mode, comfortable, sport, and again the exhaust. So you can switch them around based on what you like. 2 buttons here and the 2 screens that you can click on. On the right side is the modes that you would like to choose. So on this car there's 6 modes. One additional one that was added for the 2019 is the slippery mode, which comes really handy if it's raining or snowing. Individual, where you set it up the way you want it. Comfortable, sports, sports plus, and then with the C63S you get the race mode. Also, this is clickable, so if you click on at any mode on the screen, it actually takes you to individual mode. So you turn on the car and immediately you press on individual, and that's it. You get your own settings of the car. So thank you all for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you would like me to cover more things about the car, whether it's the financing, the different features of the car. I would love to. I've had this vehicle now for almost a year and a half, so I've been having it for a long time. So if you'd like me to talk about anything else, please let me know. Thank you all again, and I would see you in the next video.